Hello, my artists. Today we are working on step 2. We're going to build our mouth monsters. Now, you've already grabbed your newspaper and the bucket at your table has a pencil in for you. What you're going to do now is be introduced to our name tags. Our name tags are going to help us identify our 3D artwork, things that we can't put in our folders. On there, you are going to do your name information, first name, last name, grade, table, color. Once that's all on there, you're going to put the title of our project, Mouth Monster. After that, you're going to put the materials that we use, which is clay. And that's going to be everything to help me identify where your project is. Now, once you're done with that, we are going to finish watching our video on how to make our monster right now. We're going to add our details and textures. You're going to write your initials inside your monster's mouth, or you're going to put it on the bottom, your choice. You're going to place your project in the tray next to your name tag, and your plan paper goes in the bin with it instead of our folders. So once that's all done, we're going to clean up and work on a free draw or an extra time project. So now let's go get into our project. Out in front of you, we have our newspaper that we grabbed. While you're watching this demo, I went around and passed out clay to everybody, and we filled out our name tag. The black bucket at your table is going to hold your project. So what you're going to do is put tape on your name tag, and you're just going to tape it in one of the corners. And when we're done, we're going to set it in front of it so I know that's where your project is. Also in front of you is a bucket of materials. These buckets have everything we need. You already grabbed your pencil. These are tools that we can use and a little bit of water that will help us glue our pieces together. So that is out in front of us. We are all ready to start working. So what we need to do first is get our clay. We're going to start with our clay, and we are going to pinch off a good little chunk and just set it to the side of our newspaper. And we're going to roll our clay into a ball, squish it, get it all nice, ready to use. Once we have our clay in a ball, we're going to take our thumb and we're going to push it into our first knuckle right there. So we're going to push it in, and we are doing pinch pots. So if you're right-handed, your right hand is in control. If you're left-handed, your left hand is in control. I'm right-handed, so I'm using my right hand. My right and left work together. We're going to pinch, 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 and rotate. We're going to open up our clay using my hand kind of as a base, and I'm going to keep going, and my mouth monster is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You want about the same thickness all the way around. Now, you have your nice little pinch pot started. You can go through, smooth out all your finger spots. Make sure it looks nice. Keep pinching it. Now, you have your monster. Everything's created. You can set them down, and you're going to want to get your tools to write your name in it. If you don't have a tool, you can just use your pencil. So I'm going to put my initials inside the mouth. And if there's any crumbs that are kind of there, just leave them. Once it dries, we can pick them off. But your initials help me understand who this is if it gets moved around. So with your extra piece of clay, you can go through and start making your details. I want to make a nice big eyeball for my monster. It's only getting one. So I'm going to roll it into a ball. And now we need to use our pointy tool to start scoring it, scratching it, so we can add it to our clay. So let's use that. All right, so I have my pointy tool. It has a nice point to it. I'm going to go in and I'm going to scratch, scratch, scratch my clay. And I'm going to figure out, I want it right here in the middle. So I'm going to scratch, 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 put some hash marks on there. And now to attach them, we're going to take our water. We're sharing it with our table, friends. You're just getting a little bit, put your finger in there. And I put a little bit of water on the scratches and a little bit of water on my monster. Then, using my hand on the inside as support, I can push those together. Smooth it down a little bit. I know that they're going to stick and my eyeball is attached. I can go in being careful. I'm going to poke a hole in the middle of it for the pupil, and it's going to get more detail when I paint it. So I added an eye. You guys are going to look at your planning paper and you're going to see what other things you need to add to it. It could be a tongue. It could be some teeth. They were your choices. But everything you add to it needs to be scored and slipped. So if I want to add this tongue, I kind of want it to stick in and kind of fall out. So I'm going to get the shape that I want, flatten it a little bit. And I'm going to go in and scratch, scratch, scratch. Go to the inside, scratch, scratch, scratch. Get my water and attach. You don't want a lot of water, just a little bit to be that glue that holds everything together. And you're going to stick it in there. Whatever you add to your monster needs to stay on the top of it or on the inside above the table. Whatever you have is going to sit on the table. So after you go through and attach everything that you want to think about what kind of texture do you want your monster to have. I think my tongue monster could be kind of maybe fuzzy. I think that would be cool. So I can use my fork and it will give me nice big like fur scratches on there. I'm staying above the table and I'm thinking where my marks are going to go. Again, if there's any crumbs, just leave them on there. We can brush them off once it's dry. Maybe I don't want such big scratch marks. Maybe I want it to be a little bit of fuzzy. So then we can use our toothbrushes that are in our tool container, and it will give us a little bit of texture, nothing too thick. Maybe you want scales. Then I have some popsicle sticks, different sizes that you guys can use, large, medium, and we also have some smaller sizes. These are great tools to add scales. You're just going to push in, keeping your hand on the inside, and you're going to move in rows, creating those scales. And you're going to go through and add all of your texture to your monster. Try and keep the shape. You can always flatten him back up. If you ended up covering your name on the inside like I did, just go in and put your initials on the back. Be careful. And it's all completed. I have everything attached that I want attached. I added all of my details, got my fur, got my scales, whatever it is you chose for your mouth monster. Once it's all done, you're going to take it and put it carefully inside your box. All right, we put our clay in our project bin. We're going to take our scrap clay, and we're going to put it in the scrap bag over by the clay and the supply area. And we want to make sure that we pick up all of our crumbs so that way we don't lose any of the clay. Any clay left over on your tools, you're going to make sure it goes back in there. Check your toothbrushes, whatever you used, and we're putting the clay back together. Once everything's all cleaned up, you guys need to make sure everything's clean, put back to the way it was when you first got here. Once that's all done, you're going to take your newspaper and you're going to put it back into the newspaper bucket if it's still good. If it is super wet and dirty from the clay, you're going to throw it away. Once that is all done, your hands are washed, then you can work on your extra time and free draw projects.